can see West Brom and Leeds when he turned it around. Yeah, there's a few defeats in there, but the base of the iceberg, the relationships he built, the understanding, the way he looked after us, the way he put this club in this position that we are now. You know, he came and we're now fighting for top 2. We go to look into every single game to win it. You know, a massive part of that goes to Mike Dods.
And the way he handled himself in the light of the disappointments he had initially, that awful night at Cheltenham, and then the 3-game spell, then the second half of the season, to go back into that group of players and hold himself as he has held himself.
Yeah,
that's a sort of mark of the man.
Football goes way more than results. And I know you're judged on results, but the hardest, and I speak, people ask me, do you want to go into management after it? The funny thing is, he'll take all the responsibility from the outside for some of them results. They'll look at the losses. Not many people talk about how we went and beat West Brom and Leeds because negativity has the strongest pull, and I understand that side of it. But you know, football goes beyond. For example, the best way to describe Mike Dods is Mike Dods was in charge for a little period, but what he's done for this club extends for many, many years. He's put us a base and a foundation where we will go be successful. And it's not a manager that just come be successful for 10, 15 games. It's what they do. So when he leaves, he's put a base in there that for us to continue. So he took charge. We weren't as successful as we'd like to be, but if you see where we are now, we're on the rise. And he's pivotal in that rise. People might not see that because they only see the tip of the iceberg, but that's why I've come out and said it. He's first class. He's the best coach I've ever worked under, and I wish him all the best today as well, especially in his first game. And
last one from me, because you mentioned there what work he's done and what he's put in place, because I was going to say, is it left a big hole in the setup, if you like? But from what you're saying, there isn't, because all you're doing now is taking forward everything that he put in place.
It's actually a really good question, because I talked about that with someone. It was actually my dad. My dad kind of asked me about that, like, what's it like losing Mike Dods? Does it leave the same question? And one of the best things Dodsy did is he made a lot of us coaches. Like, tactically, he gave me and a lot of the players a game understanding that I've never developed before. So, for example, you look at Dan Neil's captaincy is incredible. A lot of people won't see the tactical side of it, but Dan Neil can lead by whispering to us. It's like, lads, we need to do this. He'll see a game shift and he'll be able to change momentum just through, this is the shape they're playing, we need to do this, ball needs to go here. And that's a product of spending time with Mike Dods. It's as a team, we can coach ourselves, and not completely, but we can coach and change things in game. And he was a big part of, making us all into coaches. And now we can go into game and problem solve a lot better.
Total Sport North East.
Live from the Stadium of Light.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Everton leading Liverpool 1-0, 7:30 kick-off in the Premier League. We're about to kick off here. Luton are going to kick off. They're defending the Roker end in the first half, all in black. They're kicking from right to left as we look down from the back of the West Stand. Sunderland, of course, in their red and white stripes, black shorts. Referee tonight in yellow is John Busby, who was in charge at the Den earlier in the season when it finished 1-1. A late goal, a late equaliser for Millwall. As we await the referee to get the game started, is just in conversation at the moment on the centre spot with the Luton number 8, Taylor Usgard, as he now checks his watch as he strides to the back of the centre circle in the Sunderland half, away to our left. Of course, this is live on television, so we're waiting for the director's nod as well, and that has been given. We're underway, and the ball played back to Kaminski, who's in light blue, the Luton Town goalkeeper, and kicked long right down the right-hand side of the Sunderland penalty area, where Sirkin battles and hooks the ball away into the East Stand for a throw to Luton Town. Their black shirts have a orange and white stripe down the left side of the shirt. And no surprise, Mick Harford here tonight, of course, sporting director at Luton Town. Often gets here, as often as he possibly can. He went on a prostate cancer walk with you, Benno, not so long ago.
Yeah, good lad, Mick.
Yeah,
lovely man.
And I remember talking to him after Luton had been thrashed at Middlesbrough earlier in the season, the lunchtime kickoff, and he came up here to see the second half of Sunderland's game that day. As Kaminski passes the ball out to the right wing, Walters, former Spurs youngster and Arsenal academy product, gets the ball down to Asgard, the Norwegian, the former Liverpool man, at the right side of the Sunderland penalty area. Back out to Walters to cross, looking to try and get it on the head, if he possibly could, of Nelson, but it's been knocked away back out into midfield. Clark nods it down to Fane. It comes back out then to Asgard, and then out wide on the left-hand side. It's gone out for a throw to Luton Town. Morris is in the penalty area, playing up front. Just behind him is Zach Nelson, but he's drifted back out now to the left wing. The ball's come back to halfway and is floated up towards Zach Nelson, another former Tottenham youth player, on the left wing. Inside to Jordan Clark, and the experienced midfielder gets it out to the left-hand side, trying to get the ball through to Joe Johnson. It comes into the penalty area. Hume will deal with this and manages to turn it away only as far as Mads Andersen. The Dane pushes it forwards to Clark, down the wing again to Johnson, another former Arsenal player, and it's come out for a throw to Luton on the left. Back it goes to Anderson. Luton, of course, one of those teams like Watford, you'd expect them to have a lot of former Tottenham, Arsenal, West Ham players being on the fringes of London. As the ball hooked away by Luke O'Nien, and will come all the way back through Mark McGuinness to the goalkeeper. Had to come out of his penalty area because Isidor was closing him down. Big kick up the other end, which O'Nien nods back to Patterson, who's all in green tonight, who rolls it out to Ballard. His right wrist carries a bandage. It's played back to Patterson just outside his penalty area. O'Nien out wide to Sirkin. Lefay is just ahead of him. He's going to just play it back rather than take on Walters to O'Nien. He swings the ball out wide on the right. Hume takes it on his chest, tried to flick it over Nelson, but it's out for a throw, which Roberts takes quickly in front of Matt Bloomfield. Bump comes back to Ballard. Matt Bloomfield, 5th game in charge for the 40-year-old who managed Colchester for a season, then took over at Wycombe in 2023 and had them 2nd in League One. He left and Mike Dods took over at Wycombe, of course. The ball played across the back. It's a mistake by Luton. Roberts has run onto it. Edge of the penalty area. He slipped it through for Isidor, whose right foot shot is past the foot of the right post. He had plenty of time. He probably should have done better.
He should have done better.
He should have done better. 4th minute.
He could have had a touch, Nick.
Yeah, I think he should have done better.
Plenty of time, touch, lit it.
That was a big opportunity for Isidor.
You've got to put them away.
I think in the time that he had, you've got to argue he should.
That's the difference, isn't it?
Yes.
You know, nice early goal.
Burnley have taken the lead against Hull.
Early goal.
Yeah, following that conversation we had in Total Sport earlier tonight about Burnley. Anyway, they're 1-0 up, and it's Everton 1, Liverpool 1 now at Goodison Park. Free kick to Sunderland. It's back in their own half, wide on the left. It's 0-0 here. And it's tapped inside by Sirkin to O'Nien, across to Ballard. Ballard now up towards the halfway line, wide to Patrick Roberts on halfway. He plays it back under pressure from Nelson to Ballard, and Ballard across to Luke O'Nien. O'Nien to Sirkin, and now down the touchline to Lefay. He's taking on Rule Walters. It comes down the touchline. It came off the defender. Sirkin's crossed, and the block by Walters leads to a corner for Sunderland, which Lefay will go down to take at the Roker end on the left-hand side. Dan Neil, of course, stays back in the centre circle. Everyone else is up in the Luton Town penalty area. Next up for Luton Town is Sheffield United, so things don't get any easier for them. As Lefay from the left, a lot of empty seats around, by the way, swings this ball in. It's not a great ball in. Ali heads the ball away easily, Millie Ali, and back to Roberts, who rather balletically just lost his balance a bit, but got the ball back from halfway to Patterson, and he's launched it up to his fellow goalkeeper Thomas Kaminski, the former Blackburn keeper.
I think we've seen already, especially from Luton, every opportunity they get, they're going to put the ball in the box.
Well, Morris is up there.
Yeah, Morris is up there.
Old-fashioned centre forward.
They'll put it in there, so we've got to stop that service coming in.
The ball floated up through the middle, looking for Morris. It's gone out for a Luton throw, halfway inside the Sunderland half. Walters will take it once Ali has dropped the ball on the touchline. Walters with a throw, back to McGuinness inside the Luton half. One cap last November for the Republic of Ireland against England. The 24-year-old Mark McGuinness.
Well done.
And the goalkeeper, Kaminsky, puts the ball out.
Because he's being put under pressure a little bit by Wilson, and that's what we've got to do. We've got to press higher up the field.
Hume will take the throw on halfway, on the right. Back it goes to Ballard. Ballard, Morris across the centre. So Ballard goes back to Patterson. Plymouth 1, Millwall 0. Plymouth Argyle on a bit of a roll at the moment, but they're going to go to Manchester City in the FA Cup.
Easy.
Very. Ballard comes away on the right, puts the ball out, looking for Roberts. Joe Johnson, who's only 18 years old, the left back, takes the throw back to Mads Anderson, into Mark McGuinness, and he drills it right up through into on the right side of the Sunderland penalty area and behind for a goal kick in the 8th minute. Sunderland 0, Luton Town 0, live on BBC Radio Newcastle. O'Nien comes and takes the ball away from Patterson at his feet and dribbles out towards the edge of the penalty area, takes it out into midfield. Ali's ahead of him. Asgard's to his right. He's found Sirkin and now Lefay. Lefay into Dan Neil. And Neil almost caught by Jordan Clark. Now he's got to get round Asgard, and he does well to find Lefay on the left touchline. Lefay puts it down the left of the penalty area. Job is trying to get in past the defender, but pushes Walters over. And it's a free kick to Luton Town, right edge of the Luton penalty area. It's worth maybe noting Job is on 8 yellow cards, so he is walking a little bit of a disciplinary tightrope.
I watched his brother last night. He was on fire,
was he?
Yeah, if you got put last night, he would have missed the second leg. Wonder if he could score tonight. His brother scored last night.
3-2, wasn't it? To Real Madrid, in case you hadn't seen the result against Manchester City in the Champions League, as the ball played back to the goalkeeper from just behind the centre circle by Luton, cleared by Kaminsky. And that's now with Ballard in the middle, out to Hume on this right-hand side. Hume up to the halfway line, whips the ball through, but Anderson heads it away. Then Rigg, I think this is his first touch, laid it off to Roberts on the right-hand side, back to Ballard, now Hume, back again to Luke O'Nien, and O'Nien finding Sirkin on the left-hand side. Ali goes to close him down, onto Lefay. He waltzes past Walters, now checks. Walters is trying to keep with him. It's played back to Job, and Job back to O'Nien. O'Nien just inside the Luton half. Through to Dan Neil. He did really well, but then Sirkin just missed it, but it comes through to Neil. He did dig it out. Neil's shot blocked on the 6-yard line. Comes down for Sirkin. His left foot half volley bobbles into the goalkeeper's hands.
Great build-up play. Do you think he had an extra touch there? Should he just hit it?
Well, difficult to say in that circumstance.
Good defending.
Plymouth 2, Millwall 0. Plymouth attempting to haul themselves away from the foot of the championship. 4 points adrift at the moment of Hull City, who of course are losing at Burnley tonight. Ballard has to defend. Morris has got the ball though, plays it out eventually to Asgard, and then eventually back again to Walters, and back onto halfway where McGuinness plays it square to Anderson, out to Johnson. Roberts closes him down. Back to Anderson. Now Isidor putting pressure on the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper lifts the ball over the halfway line. Nelson's looking for it. Hume's nodded it down straight to Carlton Morris. He's tackled though by Hume and O'Nien, a combination of the two. And then Sirkin to Job. Job back to Sirkin. And Sirkin plays it back to Patterson. 11 minutes nearly played, 0-0. Out here to Ballard on the right. Ballard back to Patterson. Patterson kicks it to his left to O'Nien. O'Nien now looking for Lefay on halfway on the left, on the touchline. Back behind him is Sirkin. Back again to Patterson. And then to Ballard. Ballard wide to Roberts. Roberts, Nelson's in front of him. Roberts forced to play the ball back behind Luke O'Nien, who just jogs back for it on the left of the Sunderland penalty area and plays it inside to Patterson. Patterson in the middle, in the D, taps it to Ballard. Bristol City 1, Stoke City 0. O'Nien wide on the left. Carlton Morris going with him into the Luton half, forwards to Lefay, into the feet of Sirkin. It's stabbed out by Ali. It's a throw to Sunderland, a third of the way inside the Luton Town half. The 4 results for Matt Bloomfield since he took charge following Luton's FA Cup exit to Nottingham Forest. 0-0 at home to Preston. They lost 3-2 at Oxford, lost 1-0 at home to Millwall, and they drew 1-1 at Sheffield Wednesday. Here's Lefay, just outside the penalty area, looks to shoot, and he scores! Lefay smashes it in the bottom corner in the 13th minute of the game, and Sunderland take the lead, and Enzo Lefay scores his first goal in red and white.
Lefay, take a bow. That was quality. Excellent. And that's what you needed. He's cut in onto his right hand side. Goalkeeper had no chance. He's buried it into the bottom corner. Quality goal.
Well, they scored at a fairly similar time to the goal against Watford at the weekend. They didn't press home that advantage. They have to press home that advantage this afternoon. Hume's ball through to Lefay. He was 19 yards out and curled it into the bottom right corner.
You've got to say that's quality, Nick. It's quality written all over that one, that finish.
So 1-0 Sunderland lead. The kickoff to come now from Luton.
Got to build on it, Nick.
They do, and that's the point I was making about Saturday's game. They lost their way a little bit against Watford. Now they've got to press home the advantage they've got. They're 1 up. Luton had to be drawn out. O'Nien's bringing the ball out here, out to Hume on the right-hand side. Tries to slip it down the line. It comes off Nelson. 19-year-old Zach Nelson. It's going to be a throw to Sunderland in their half on the right-hand side. Back to O'Nien. Across to Ballard. They swap positions at the minute. The 2 centre-backs. Sirkin on to Lefay. Inside to Jobe, looking for Sirkin down that left touchline. Lefay wins it back, battles for it. And then it's a foot in to try and get the ball to Dan Neal, who wins a free kick, fouled by Jordan Clark. Just inside the Sunderland half on the right. We've played nearly a quarter of an hour. Sunderland 1, Luton Town 0, live on BBC Radio Newcastle. As O'Nien strolls forwards to the ball to take the free kick, plays it back to Anthony Patterson. Ballard, like Patterson, likes to wear short sleeves. Great and pass. Swings it wide to Lefay. What a way to bring the ball down. You could hear the collective from the crowd at the way Lefay controlled that ball. He finds Jobe, and now Jobe again from Sirkin's pass on the left. This little triangle of those 3, Lefay, Jobe and Sirkin. Comes back in the end to O'Nien, now to Ballard, and Ballard on the right-hand side to Roberts. Roberts has got Rigg ahead of him down the right wing. He cuts inside there, Roberts, trying to lose Zach Nelson through the legs of a defender. It's come back into the Luton penalty area, off that defender's shin. It was Lamine Fane, and back to the goalkeeper. He's got it out quickly, but Joe Johnson under pressure. The ball out off Roberts for a throw to Luton on the left-hand side. Still inside the Luton half.
You know, you look at Lefay and you can tell he's a player who enjoys playing football, doesn't he?
He just loves the ball at his feet.
Yeah.
Kaminski, the Belgian, won cap against the Republic of Ireland last March. And now Clark just tries to drive it through the middle. Ali chases, but Sirkin just peels away from Millie Ali. And then to Lefay in the Sunderland half. Jobe just ahead of him. Back to Lefay, into the middle to Neal. Neal across to Ballard. Ballard now out to Hume on this right-hand side. Closed down by Nelson. Plays it back to Luke O'Nien. Ashgard goes to close him down. O'Nien swings a ball down the left wing behind Lefay this time. There's nothing he could do. And it's out for a Luton Town throw.
There's nothing he can do. He can do anything.
But he couldn't do that. Throw which Walters will take. Back to McGuinness at the corner of the penalty area and back to the goalkeeper, Kaminski, former Anderlecht goalkeeper back in the day. He kicks it again deep into the Sunderland half. Ballard heads it on up towards halfway. Clark trying to get it down the right to Ali. He just pokes it back to Walters, back again to McGuinness in the Luton half on the right-hand side. And McGuinness tries to play a cross-field ball onto the head of Hume. Nelson trying to bring it down. Neil trying to win it, leaves it for Rigg. Rigg now looks up, just lays it off to Roberts, inside to Hume. Hume to Rigg again, wide, inside to Roberts, inside the Sunderland half. It's stabbed away by Fane, back into Anderson. And now McGuinness at the back of the centre circle. And Isidor just trying to close him down. Laid off again to Mads Anderson. Former Barnsley centre-half, actually. Spent 4 years at Barnsley, the Dane. It's rolled out by Patterson to O'Nien. And O'Nien looks up, drives this up through the middle. Isidor chasing it. The goalkeeper's just caught it comfortably at the edge of the penalty area, but the appreciation shown by Isidor to O'Nien's pass and its intention. 18th minute, Sunderland lead 1-0. The ball up towards Carlton Morris, off his head, back to Patterson. Thankless task, isn't it, for Carlton Morris up there? The captain of Luton, 29 years old, another former Barnsley player. Mind, he's been to a fair few clubs on loan when he was at Norwich, yeah. Ballard out to Hume, back to Ballard. Ballard on the right. Morris in between him and O'Nien, so it goes back to Patterson. Patterson to the edge of his area, passes it out to O'Nien. O'Nien then down the left wing to Lefay. Nice control again, back to Sirkin, to Lefay. And Job is there as well, but it's been pushed out for a throw to Sunderland on the left. Lefay takes it, back to Sirkin. Sirkin to O'Nien, back again to Patterson. Patterson pushes it out to Ballard. Ballard bringing this down the right-hand side and finds Hume on the right wing. Roberts makes a run down the right. Hume takes this on. He's going to play it out to Roberts on this right-hand side. He puts it on his left into the penalty area. Anderson deals with it. Comes out to Ballard, chests it down on the right. Looks for the ball down the right side of the penalty area for Trey Hume. But it rolls behind for a goal kick to Luton Town. Well, they're looking comfortable at the moment, Sunderland at 1-0. They're pushing the ball about, trying to stretch Luton Town. The keeper is going to take the kick.
Second goal, don't
That's the one. You know, that's the one. That elusive second goal. The ball onto the head of Ashgard. And then Ballard nods it back to Anthony Patterson, away from Carlton Morris. He rolls it out to Ballard. Ballard on the right-hand side, bringing this out then and just pausing to play it back to Patterson. Is at the edge of the D and just strolls out into midfield. No hurry. Plays it to Ballard. Roberts wide, back to Hume. 20 minutes played. 1-0 to Sunderland. And the ball is back with Thomas Kaminski, who urges his defenders, the two centre-halves, to push up again. It's going to be another big kick from the Belgian, 32 years old, 6'3", up over the halfway line, looking for Morris, heads it on. Ali heads it into the middle and nodded back to Patterson. And we go through the same routine. Rolled out to Hume, down the line to Rigg. Rigg just still in his own half, plays it back to Ballard. Ballard then to O'Nien. O'Nien slowly bringing it up towards the halfway line and then just checking in front of Ashgard and playing it across to Ballard here again. Ballard wide to Roberts. Roberts swings it up, looking for Isidor through the middle. Flag stays down, but Isidor, can he get the ball away? He can, but it took a deflection and it bobbles into the hands of the goalkeeper. He's okay, he's just limping a little bit, Isidor, as he gets up, but he's going to run that off. It's played out to Johnson, into the middle to Fane, played back to Kaminski, closed down by Isidor, but away it goes, up into the centre circle, running onto it is Dan Neil, flicks it back to Hume behind him, and then to Dan Neil again on this right-hand side, just inside the Luton half. Roberts just inside, back to Hume, Hume back to Ballard, Ballard now to O'Nien, and O'Nien plays it across to Ballard and Hume, wide again to Roberts, and Roberts now dribbling on and then come on down this right-hand side and cuts inside from Clark, still going, he's tripped, and John Busby awards the free kick for Sunderland on the right side of midfield. 23, 24 yards out.
Well done, Patrick Roberts.
It's what he does, I suppose. I know people can say that he's not got an end product, but in lots of ways, one of his end products is being fouled and giving away. He wins free kicks.
Yeah, and he can bring you up the field as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He can, get you up 30, 40 yards up that.
Burnley 2, Hull 0. It's a 4-man Luton wall, and it's Lafay and Roberts over the free kick.
Hit the target.
Do you think it'll be Lafay who drives it straight into the Luton wall? And it comes down here on the left, and there's a player down.
Yeah.
The impact of that shot has flattened whichever defender it was in the wall. It was Walters, the right back. He's helped to his feet. Maybe a drop ball. Quick word for Isidor from Michael Proctor. Register Brees, I think, had his say as well. The ball back with the referee. Drop ball it'll be to Luton Town. And Walters being told he has to leave the field. He walks off towards this near touchline. Isidor comes down to stand 10 yards away from the drop ball. Walters doesn't look particularly impressed with being told to come off. He's now being checked over. Sunderland 1, Luton 0. 24th minute, the ball dropped to the feet of Kaminski, the goalkeeper. He scoops it up away to our right at the Roker end, and then kicks down this left-hand side. Ballard's wrestling with Morris, comes back to Clark behind him, then won by Hume, given away to Johnson. Now trying to get it to Nelson. He can't control it. Roberts to Ballard, back out to Roberts. Roberts back again to Ballard. Ballard across the field, looking for Lafay. Lafay, he's brought this down. Serkins jogged on down the left touchline. Job's just inside. Job now to Dan Neil in the centre. Finds Rigg with a lovely pass. Now he's slipped it through, looking for Isidor. Has he got the pace? Back comes Johnson to slide in and get the ball back for McGuinness to clear in front of Kaminski. Out to Ali on the right, back to Walters. And Walters, the Fay did enough to knock the ball out. It's a throw, though, to Luton Town. LeVay trying to argue that it should have been a Sunderland ball. His boot just slipped off. He's just trying to put it back on, isn't he? So, throw down the right, comes back to Mark McGuinness. And they're advertising around the perimeter the fact that Sunderland women will play Durham women here on the 2nd of March. That's the weekend, of course, on the Friday night. Sunderland, now assistant referee's just been taken out, and O'Nien's waving the yellow flag. I don't know if that's surrender.
They get a bucket.
But he cleaned the assistant now. There's a big smile on O'Nien's face. The referee shakes the hand, the outstretched right hand of Luke O'Nien. Going back to that Durham women game against Sunderland, March the 2nd on the Friday night, of course, Sunderland at Sheffield Wednesday. The upshot of all that is a throw to Sunderland down the left wing. It's flicked on by Asgard. Hume cuts across and plays it off Asgard, the Norwegian, for a goal kick. Moment of humour in the game.
I was waiting for VAR.
Well, he might not have to wait long if go up. If Sunderland get promoted. And if at the moment, 27th minute, Sunderland 1, Luton Town 0. We're live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Ball played out to the left wing by O'Nien. Sirkin plays it back. O'Nien closed down by Asgard. Plays it deep into the Luton half, and on the touchline, McGuinness under pressure from Isidor, forced to play the ball out. So it's another Sunderland throw.
But it's a good outlet, isn't it? You know,
it is.
40, 50 yards where we are.
It's come back to Job on halfway. Back across to Ballard. Ballard now for Roberts on this right-hand side. And Roberts again looking for the run into the penalty area of Hume to the goal line. Pulls it back. There's nobody there. Isidor was too late.
Great
because it beat the man at the near post and bobbled along the 6-yard line. Roberts is going to try again. He's out on the right here again. Rolls it in, but behind Hume, who's trying to wrestle it off Asgard, but he's fouled him. And it's a free kick to Luton Town.
Great little play there. Great ball. Great pullback.
Great opening. Just a shame nobody on the end of it. No, he couldn't. So now the goalkeeper's come out to take the free kick on the left, just forwards of the D at the edge of the Luton penalty area. And with his right, drives it down the left. Ballard's got his eye on it, heads it away from Morris. Lefay heads it back, and O'Nien has to run onto it. Ali went to close him down. It's out to the left touchline, and a great ball down that left wing. Job runs onto it. Job now jogging at the corner of the penalty area, trying to come round McGuinness. And now he's forced back out into midfield. And he comes back into the middle and lays it off to Dan Neil. Neil back to Job on the left-hand side. Job down the left to Lefay. Lefay back to Job. Job back again to Lefay on the left. Ali's in front of him. And it's played in now to Dennis Sirkin on the left of midfield. Back to Luke O'Nien. Inside the Luton half still. Forwards to Sirkin and down that left wing to Lefay. Ali in front of him again. And Sirkin's going to go around the back of him. It's come back inside to Job. Job loops it into the penalty area, but the keeper will take this at the far post. Still 1-0 to Sunderland. Kaminsky. There's no playing out from the back with this lot.
No.
It's direct every time, looking for Morris. And down the right this time.
That's what they do.
Looking for the nod down. O'Nien gets the better of Morris this time, comes back to Nelson. And now Fanay back to Anderson, down that left to Johnson. Roberts is with him, but he's slipped away from Roberts, Johnson, and Joe Johnson now inside to Nelson. Neil trying to win him off him, back to Clark in the middle. And now Walters to Ali, closed down by Sirkin, goes round Sirkin. Sirkin in danger of fouling him. The cross straight into the hands from Ali of Anthony Patterson, who comes out to the edge of his penalty area, but waits as the players spread themselves wide, and it's bowled out to Sirkin on the left-hand side. We've played there nearly half an hour, Sunderland leading through that Enzo Lefay goal in the 13th minute. And a nice goal it was too. Isidor wins it in the air, comes down for Rigg. Now played by Neil to Hume on the right, on halfway, down to Roberts on the right wing. Patrick Roberts now. Joe Johnson backing off him. Roberts, lovely ball slipped in towards Hume, but the defender gets in front of him on the goal line.
Unlucky tray here.
Anderson for a goal kick. They're trying that little bit of interplay, aren't they? Hume and Roberts are trying to find a way in through that avenue. It may yet pay off. 31st minute. Thomas Kaminsky with the goal kick. All the players towards the far side on the halfway line. Regis Lebris stands with his hands deep in his jacket pockets as Kaminsky drives this over the halfway line. Ballard went up with Morris. It's dropped for Ali. They're trying to get the ball through here, and it's come back out to Ali on the far side on the touchline. He's fouled by Sirkin. Referee's coming across for a word with Dennis Sirkin. And just a warning. I think this must be one of those accumulation warnings. You're totting up fouls, one or two more, and you'll be in the yellow. It'll be a yellow card.
And this is what Luton are playing for, Nick. You know, set pieces. You know, trying to get the fouls. Now this ball's going to go in there, and they'll be battling for this. If we don't get the first one, they'll try to pick the second ball up, the loose ball. That's where we've got to be strong.
Luton in discussion about who's going to take the free kick. They've got marvellous Nakamba on the bench. I just love that. Marvellous. Anyway, will we see marvellous Nakamba in the second half, or maybe in the first? It's 0-0 at Bramall Lane, by the way, between Sheffield United and Middlesbrough.
Concentration.
This free kick is a yard in. It's tapped short to Clark. Back to Johnson. He whips it into the penalty area. Morris off the post. It's bundled in, was it? The flag is up.
It's flagged up.
The flag is up as an offside.
Offside.
Ali thought he'd scored.
No, offside.
But the offside flag has come up almost immediately. Morris off the post, the header.
Yeah, he's offside.
From whereas Patterson pushed it onto the post. But Ali was in an offside position. And even of the ball across the line, which I don't think it had. Did it? No, it didn't, did it?
Great save by Patterson, but that's the warning, Nick.
It is, yeah. As a set piece, you said. It was worked well. And it's still 1-0 to Sunderland.
Here
comes Ballard, yeah.
A wake-up call.
So, playing it out again through 09, up to Job. Back to 09. Now Job again. Lefay, lovely ball to Sirkin. Sirkin and Job, I think there was a little bit of miscommunication between the two, but Job has come away with the ball. And then on the touchline, Lefay trying to win it from Walters. He's done that. Now goes round Ali. And in tight, he slips in the penalty area. He looks half-heartedly for a penalty, but honestly, I don't think there was any way in the world he was going to win a penalty there. He just slipped. He's run straight back to win it back off Ali. And now Job, and inside to Rigg. Rigg, edge of the area, shoots. Save, parried away by the goalkeeper. Out to the Sunderland right. And Johnson happy just to lash it back up into the Sunderland half.
Great play again by Lefay.
1-0 it remains. But again, Lefay, fantastic play.
He's got a little bit about him. You know, we talk about the ability, what he's got, his skill, but I'll tell you what, he does fight back for the ball. He fights for the ball.
He's a worker.
Great strike by Chris Rigg.
Yep, he got it on target. That's all you can ask. Save made by Kaminski. Comes back here to Ballard in the Sunderland half. And Lefay's urge, he's desperate for the ball. And even Lefay, if he could leap 20 feet, wouldn't have got that. It's a throw to Luton Town. But poor old Millie Ali and Walters on that far side, they must be desperate for half time. To see the back of Enzo Lefay, who scored the only goal of the game so far. Here is Lefay again involved. Leaves it for Sirkin. Back to O'Nien. Morris is over there, but it's played back by O'Nien to Patterson. Patterson taps it to Ballard. And Ballard now down this right-hand side to Hume. Flicks it inside to Rigg. Back to Hume. And then to Neil in the middle. Across to Sirkin. And Sirkin to Lefay again. Lefay, the Lefay show. He just plays a reverse pass to Sirkin. Sirkin trying to cross this. It's headed away clear by McGuinness. Only as far as Job. Running onto it, Lefay. And then it's cleared again by Anderson. Job nods it down. It comes back off Fané to Ashgard. He's trying to get it to Nelson. Neil's trying to win it back off him. Hume's in there as well. Lefay, he's chasing it. And Walters manages to clear it down the right wing, looking for Morris. It's hooked away by the right foot of O'Nien up through the middle. And Anderson puts his right foot through it and is offside Carlton Morris. And there's a free kick in the middle of the Sunderland half. Half-time at Goodison. Everton 1, Liverpool 1. Neil back to O'Nien, to Job, then to Sirkin. Oh, a lovely ball on straight away to Neil into the Luton half. Played it into the centre to Rigg, controls it, gets it wide now to Roberts. Roberts running at Johnson into the penalty area on the right. Low ball in. Oh, across the face of Isidor. All he needed to do was run onto it and it would have gone off him and in. It's gone out for a throw. Roberts must be disbelieving there, because what a ball in that was by Roberts.
Good play again. Good build-up play by Sunderland.
How did Isidor not get on the end of that? It's a corner in the end.
Deflection, hasn't it? Roberts' ball taking a slight deflection, taking it away from.
What a beautiful move it would have been as well, as the corner then from the left, a second corner, taken short to Roberts. And Roberts crosses, and the ball now, and Patterson's over talking to Reggie Slabreese. He jogs back into the centre of his half now, and Rigg puts a ball up into the Luton penalty area, and McGuinness heads it behind. Another corner then. Sunderland 1, Luton 0, 38th minute. Lefay over on the left again. Roberts is over on that left-hand side as well. Isidor on the goalkeeper. Referee's seen some pushing. Has a word. Points across to the left wing and with his other hand at the players. And Lefay then with his third Sunderland corner. Job making a run inside. The ball swung in and off Ballard. He was trying to get on the end of it. It's come out to Rigg, puts it back in, and a stretch from Job. It's not enough. It goes behind for a goal kick. The left corner of the 6-yard box. And Kaminski placing the ball for the goal kick. In the league this season, Lefay has become Sunderland's 15th goal scorer. So they're spreading the goals amongst themselves. Isidor, of course, way out front with 10. As the ball rolls out for a throw to Sunderland, deep in the Sunderland half on the left-hand side. Sirkin, 18 yards from the corner, takes the throw, headed on by Isidor to Lefay on the touchline. Walters tried to get the ball off him, but it's worked it to Isidor. Isidor trying to cut inside, too much of it shown to Asgard, and the Norwegian plays it back to Mark McGuinness. And McGuinness, signed from Cardiff in the summer, inside to Fane, and the Spaniard plays it out to the left to Anderson, on to Nelson, back then to Clark, across to McGuinness, and McGuinness at the back of the centre circle wide to Walters. Walters now looking for Morris. Plays it back onto the halfway line where Isidor wins it from Fane, leaves it for Job, and is tackled by Walters inside to Fane, who's looking for the run of Nelson, but Ballard, well, he's nodded it almost into the path of Nelson, who has to come wide though because Humes forced him there, and Asgard now inside of him. Asgard plays it back to Clark. Clark at the left side of midfield plays it straight at Ballard. Ballard now to Lefay, out to Sirkin. Sirkin, Job is out wide, inside is Lefay. Lefay plays it back to Dan Neil, and Neil wide to Hume. 41st minute, 1-0 to Sunderland, live on BBC Radio Newcastle. And Hume now flicks it to Roberts, back to Hume, and Hume back to Dan Ballard. Carlton Morris goes to close him down. Back it goes to Patterson, passing it out to Luke O'Nien. O'Nien bringing it up and down the left wing to Lefay. Sirkin meant to sprint down the touchline. Lefay gets the ball away from Walters. It comes back from Sirkin to Lefay, now to Job, back to O'Nien. O'Nien plays it through to Dan Neil. They're finding the gaps It's played inside to Lefay, out to Sirkin on the left wing. Closed down by Walters, back to Job on halfway, and behind him is O'Nien. O'Nien pauses a moment and then takes it into the Luton half on that left-hand side, lays it off to Sirkin. Sirkin, he's got Ali in front of him, back to O'Nien, and O'Nien back across to Ballard on this right-hand side. Ballard wide to Roberts. Roberts has got Johnson in front of him. He's still got it, Roberts, and plays it back to Ballard. O'Nien on the halfway line on the left, and quickly out to Lefay. Lefay will take on Walters. He goes round him. Lefay down the left of the penalty area, then wins a corner off the right back. He's not scared to take players on.
He does it with ease.
He does. He does. Enzo Lee ease. And he goes across for this fourth Sunderland corner. Again on the left-hand side at the Roker end. We've played 42 minutes. And Sunderland lead through that Lefay goal in the 13th minute. Neil and Patterson back up in the centre circle.
Ballard having a wrestling fight, Adam.
Well, there's been a bit of pushing. There's a lot of jostling between the two centre-backs, McGuinness and him. The corner's played in. Job at the edge of the penalty area, trying to nod it down. Fanny's trying to clear it. And Ali will run onto it if he can, but he's got to deal with Hume, who just barges through him. Free kick to Luton Town. Wide on the right. Lefay leaves the ball off the side of the pitch, so Walters has to jog and get it. And it's knocked inside for the goalkeeper to take the free kick for Luton Town. So halfway inside his own half, wide on the right, Thomas Kaminski with the free kick in his light blue kit with his right foot, hangs in the air a moment, looking for Morris, drops for Neil, and then it's a half volley from the D from Clark, which must have taken a touch off one of the Sunderland players as it sailed over the top for a corner to Luton. Their first corner of the game, and you mentioned set pieces before. The free kick led to a few problems. Sunderland had to be very much on their guard here.
This is what they'll work on.
Joe Johnson, the left back, who was signed from a club called Focus Football in the summer, although he'd been out of mainstream football for a couple of seasons. The 18-year-old, 6'2" left back in the all black of Luton on the right will take this corner kick. They've left three out in midfield. Of course, Morris is in. The ball swung in and over everybody's heads. Job and Isidor. Isidor has to chase out for this on the right-hand side. Hooks it down towards the halfway line. Rigg looking to nod it on, but there's nobody there, and it's played back to Kaminski, the goalkeeper, in the last minute of the 45. Kaminski's kick, looking for Ali. He's fouled Sirkin. And it's a free kick in the Sunderland half on the left. Quickly taken by O'Nien. Job with Sirkin coming up behind him to overlap on that left side. Job rolls it down the left of the penalty area. Sirkin checks, then looks up, and he's in the penalty area, but rolls it back here to Lefay. Lefay just leaves it for Job. Job trying to slip it through for Lefay, but sliding across the edge of the 6-yard area as the goalkeeper to retrieve the ball. Dean Whitestone is the fourth official, coming out to show us how much time will be added on at the end of this first 45. I don't think it'll be much, do you? 1 minute, 2 minutes, maybe maximum.
Minute.
And out comes Kaminski. 1 minute. We're into that 1 minute of added time now. And the throw to Luton on the far side. Walters will take this. They've only won one game away from home this season. That was at Millwall in September. Luton, the throw down that right side, headed away by Sirkin, drops for Fanny, Lamine Fanny, who's come away with the ball down into the corner on the goal line, gets the cross in, but it's headed out by Sunderland to the edge of the area and then hooked up towards halfway by Rigg. 15 seconds of the minimum minute left. It's back with Kaminski in his own half, and he's driven it right back up to the edge of the Sunderland penalty area. It comes off Morris, headed away by Ballard, and now Job has it with seconds of the first half left. The referee's looked quickly at his watch, and that will be half time. So a half in which Sunderland were in control, a half in which they scored early again, 13th minute, with Lefay's lovely effort from just outside the penalty area, 19 yards into the bottom right-hand corner. But they had other chances. Rigg had a save, a shot parried away, a ball, two balls across the 6-yard box, which if only someone had got on the end of.
Yeah, and you look at Matt Bloomfield really happy to go in 1-0 down. You know, I would imagine second half they'll come out and have a little bit of a go at Sunderland, but we need that second goal. We keep saying 1-0, they're still in the game.
Absolutely. The second half to come on BBC Radio Newcastle and SAFC.com at half time. Pridey will take you through that. It is Sunderland 1, Luton Town 0.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
There is one thing that a lot of supermarkets have, and I've never sort of really questioned it until now: clock towers. Apparently there's a YouTuber been looking into it and explains that people were getting sick of ugly-looking American-style supermarkets opening in the UK, to the point where one chain, they basically said they could open one in Essex if they made it fit in. So what they did is they whacked a clock tower on there, and then every supermarket in the UK basically copied it. I mean, what I find interesting is if it fits in with Essex, I would have thought they'd just give it a tan and some turkey teeth, and that would fit in perfectly in Essex, wouldn't it?
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Just ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Newcastle.
And Matt will, of course, have reaction to tonight's game on tomorrow morning's show, and there'll be more reaction on Total Sport tomorrow night when I'll be joined by Marco and Olivier Bernard. Now, Gary Bennett, the former Sunderland centre-half who's been commentating with Barnsley, is alongside me still at the Stadium of Light. Before I allow him to go for his half-time refreshment, just a little bit more reflection on that first half, Benno. And we were talking before the game about how at some point Sunderland are going to beat a team and beat them well, go a couple of goals clear and then push on. I did think after the first goal had gone in, after they'd already had a couple of good chances, that might be tonight. But while it's still 1-0, you remain concerned. They don't often go 2 goals up, do they, Sunderland?
They don't, and again, while it stays at 1-0, Luton are still in the game. And we've had a couple of opportunities, and Luton will be happy that they've gone in only a goal down. They could easily have been 2 and 3. We've played some good football, but we've just got to be a little bit, shall we say, ruthless, especially in that 18-yard box.
08000 321 333 on WhatsApp, 81333 on text. Start your messages with letters BBC. I'll go through the other scores very shortly as well. Sheffield United have just taken the lead against Middlesbrough. As far as the second half is concerned then, Benno, I guess it's kind of go out and pretty much do what they were doing, but just get that second goal.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, just need to see a little bit more of Wilson Isidor. He's trying to, combine and get in there, but we've seen Lafay. You can see that he's a quality
What a player!
player.
It's just great to watch, isn't he?
Yeah,
he took his goal superbly, but there was so much more than that.
Yes, indeed. It's the other side which you don't appreciate, or you don't see the hard work which he puts in.
He's coming back and he's winning sliding tackles, and he's tracking back, and he's once again caught the eye. In terms of Isidor, obviously he's a central striker. Sometimes you just feel, there have been plenty of balls that have gone in across the box, across the 6-yard box. I don't know whether he's just been a bit unlucky. It's just that he's not quite on the end, it's just behind him, just in front of him. It's just, maybe he just thinks that bit of luck, one comes straight to his feet. But it's
difficult because he's a lone striker. He's at times he's trying to, shall we say, link up play, but even when he is linking up play, then he's got that maybe another 20 yards he's got to make up to get into the box as well, and to get onto the end of things. But we've had a warning. It was great defending in the end. But set pieces, you can see, Luton maybe could cause Sunderland 1 or 2 problems.
And while there's still 1 goal, then they have to be on their guard. Benno, thank you very much indeed. More to come from Benno after tonight's match. And as I say, if you want to get in touch, do send us a message anytime through the course of the evening. 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp, 81333 on text. Start your messages, please, with the letters BBC. So let me tell you what's happening elsewhere then in the Championship tonight. Bristol City leads Stoke by a goal to nil. Mehmeti with a goal on 11 minutes there. At Turf Moor, Burnley, well, they've scored twice, which is a rarity for them. They lead Hull by 2-0. Humphreys and Fleming, the goal scorers. And Plymouth, a bit of a revival from them. They lead Millwall by 2-0 after drawing with Sunderland. Of course, they've beaten West Brom, knocked Liverpool out the cup, and now they are beating Millwall. Bryan and Hardy from the penalty spot, both in the first 10 minutes for Plymouth. It's goalless between Swansea City and Sheffield Wednesday. And as I mentioned, Sheffield United, this was a later kick-off. All the others are half-times, but Sheffield United lead Borough by 1-0 on the 8 o'clock kick-off. Raksaki with the goal for Sheffield United. So that's not good news for Sunderland. And West Brom 0, Blackburn Rovers 0 in one of the Tony Mowbray derby games is the latest score from the Hawthorns. In the Premier League, it's Everton 1, Liverpool 1 in the last ever Merseyside derby at Goodison Park. And Everton took the lead in that one through Beto. Alexis McAllister equalising just after the quarter-hour mark. They're into the second half now. It is still 1-1. And in the Champions League knockout round playoffs, earlier this evening, Club Brugge, the Belgian side, beat the Italians of Atalanta by 2-1. Celtic 0, Bayern Munich 0 is a latest. That was an 8 o'clock kickoff. Feyenoord lead AC Milan by 1-0, and it's Monaco 0, Benfica 0. So that is you up to date in terms of the other scores. I will get you an update on Heaton Stannington's game as well. They are in action tonight in the Northern Premier League East Division against Bradford Park Avenue. It was 1-0 when I last checked, but I have to admit that was a little while ago, so I'll see if anything else has happened. While we bring you some reaction to last night's game in the National League North, Buxton beat South Shields by 1-0. Now, South Shields conceded in the 87th minute, leaving their manager, Elliot Dickman, a rather unhappy man afterwards.
We're drawn towards the end of the game, and we're playing in a position and putting the ball at risk, and on a pitch which is a little bit lively, to be fair. Even though it's an Astro, it's fast, and we just got it wrong, and ultimately it's cost us the game. So it's just another mistake which has cost us the game, and I'm sick of it if I'm really honest about it, because for all the effort and all the hard work that we put in, just to throw the game away like we did in the 86th minute by making poor decisions is just baffling, to be honest. Even towards the end of the first half, we're under pressure with the corner at the last kick of the game, and for the first half, and again, that's a time when we've got to, we're in possession and we're trying something that's not on, and we've just got to be a bit more intelligent to understand the moments of the game. We're coming away to Buxton, we should be coming away with a point, and we're coming away with nothing. And like I say, for 86 minutes, the effort and commitment the team put in to work hard to hopefully get that point, if not more as well, we're just wasting it. We're just throwing it down the drain.
Elsewhere last night, Bishop Auckland 1, Ashington 2. Good result for Ashington, that, and Dunstan drew 2-2 with Liversedge, just in case you missed that one as well. Now, last night in the FA Cup fourth round, League One Exeter City, supported of course by our very own Nick Barnes, gave Nottingham Forest a bit of a scare before losing on penalties after a 2-2 draw. Exeter's manager is the former Newcastle defender Gary Caldwell.
Heroic effort. Feels like we've been playing for about 3 days. Players were outstanding. The mentality, the teamwork, it was incredible, and it's something we have to take forward. We have to use this that we've got from tonight and take this into the next 17 games.
That was Gary Caldwell, the manager of Exeter. They are out, so no teams below the Championship now left in the FA Cup. Blythe Spartans, at the weekend, you might have seen this, announced Kevin Miles as their new chairman. That after Martin Trinder stepped back from the role after a relatively short time. Spartans are rooted to the bottom of the table on just 17 points. That's the Northern Premier League, and they've won just 3 games all season, the Premier Division of the Northern Premier League, that is. And Miles has been talking for the first time since taking over. He says securing the club's long-term future is the priority.
I like to pay tribute to Martin Trinder and the work he's done in the course of the last few months of holding things together and making sure we have a club to develop. We still have a long way to go in terms of guaranteeing the future. It would be naive not to be prepared for the prospect of relegation. But it's to put the club on its sound financial footing. We think when we took over, there was a black hole of about £200,000. The directors have so far this season themselves put in about 90,000, for which we will be eternally grateful it's got at this point. But we need to generate about another £120,000 to get us debt-free into the start of next season. And that's the first ambition. If we can do that and get into the black and start, we will never spend more than we earn, but we'll not be carrying any burdens from the past with us as we go into the new season. And we can really start to reset and rebuild. And as for the future, I think the sky's the limit. What we would love to do, I'd love to see happen, is to the club to be much more rooted in the community, make the club a real hub for activities of the town of Blythe.
Plenty of challenges ahead for Kevin Miles in his new role as the chairman of Blythe Spartans then. Heaton Stannington 1, Bradford Park Avenue 1 is the latest score in the Northern Premier League East this evening. Heaton Stan, of course, could really do with the points. Let's hope that they can forge their way ahead again in the second half. There, we'll keep you up to date. Some more football news, and a couple who won more than £100 million in the Euro Millions lottery 6 years ago have taken over Durham Women Football Club. Patrick and Francis Connolly have invested in the club and will lead a new board of directors, which includes Lee Sanders and Dawn Heppel, the club's co-founders. Durham, of course, currently fourth in the Women's Championship, so we'll bring you more on that story in the days to come here on BBC Radio Newcastle. And Lioness Beth Mead, who used to play for Sunderland, has been talking about how the death of her mother June from cancer 2 years ago has changed her perspective on life. The Arsenal forward is supporting a new public health campaign which aims to help eliminate cervical cancer by 2040. Now, the campaign, called Defend Your Tomorrow, will be marked at Sunday's North London derby between Arsenal and Spurs. And Mead says she wants to impress for the Gunners this season and get back into the England team, but she insists there are more important things in life.
Obviously, at the time I was going through an ACL injury. I came home after my surgery and spent obviously a very precious month with my mum after that injury, but ultimately I had an injury that I could come back from. Perspective became a very interesting thing for me in life. It sounds extreme, but we've all got to live it every day as if it's our last and see what we can do in them days. And I'd like to think my mum would be very proud of the person that I am since that.
Bit of rugby union for you. The Newcastle Falcons travel to Sale in their final pool game in the Premiership Cup on Sunday. We'll have commentary with Dean Gray. That'll be via the BBC Sport website and app as usual. The Falcons sit top of their pool. They've done well in this competition. 5 wins from 5. They've already qualified for the knockout stage. But Director of Rugby Steve Diamond says they're looking to finish the group with a 100% record.
You've got to remember at this time of year, if there's no fixtures, if you don't continue in this competition, you don't play for 4 or 5 weeks, and their next fixture is against us here in the league, if that's the case. So they'll want to win just so they can have a go at winning the competition and also having a fixture during the Six Nations.
What sort of challenges and threats are they going to bring?
Well, they're a big forward pack. They've got a very good squad, depth in squad, a lot more than ours, to be fair. We'll go reasonably strong with most people that are available. We're not going to push people who are on the cusp of playing. We'll wait. We get a week off after this game and then it's a quarter-final. So with the exception of Sam Arnold and Ben Redshaw, we probably will have a full squad fit for the quarter-finals.
That was Steve Diamond. In cricket, England have been beaten again by India. So 3-0 in their one-day international series. It finished. They lost the final match in Ahmedabad by 143 runs, a heavy defeat, failing to chase down a big target of 357 for victory. The Champions Trophy, of course, starts next week. And a match to look out for tonight in the Welsh Open snooker. Mark Selby takes on Gateshead's Elliot Slessor. That one is due to start at 9 o'clock, so not long from now. Benno is just pointing out that Middlesbrough have equalised against Sheffield United, so that could well be good news for Sunderland if Borough can get something from that game. Automatic promotion still a possibility, of course, for Sunderland. That big game for Leeds United coming up shortly as well. And yeah, Bergzorg from the penalty spot has equalised for Borough at Sheffield United just into first half injury time there. So here at the Stadium of Light, Sunderland are leading by a goal to nil. It possibly could have been more. Maybe in the second half it will be more. Keep the messages coming in, and then I can put some to Benno at the final whistle, because remember, we're on air until 10 o'clock. 08000 321 08000 321 333. Start your WhatsApp BBC and text 81333. Also starting BBC. Second half starting shortly.
Half-time highlights.
Total Sport Northeast.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Here's Lefay, just outside the penalty area. Looks to shoot, and he scores! Lefay smashes it in the bottom corner in the 13th minute of the game, and Sunderland take the lead, and Enzo Lefay scores his first goal in red and white.
Lefay, take a bow. That was quality.
Total Sport Northeast.
Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett MBE.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
And the team's out for the second half. Dan Neil just having a quick word with referee John Busby, who's in yellow. Sunderland in their red and white stripes, black shorts. They are attacking from the Roker end, attacking the north end of the Stadium of Light, where we watch from the back of the west stand. That's right to left. And the whistle blown. Luton all in black, but a white and orange stripe down the left side, the left flank of their black shirts. Sunderland leading through that Lefay goal. Then O'Nien here to Lefay on the touchline, inside to Dan Neil, who swings a wonderful ball out to Roberts on the right wing, and he reverses it down the right side for Rigg. And Rigg now on the right side of the penalty area, trying to come past Johnson, back to Roberts. And Roberts inside to Lefay, edge of the area, rolls it back out to Rigg on the right. Rigg to try and come in past the fullback, in towards Roberts, and flicks it just wide. Very difficult to try and turn it inside, and it's behind for a goal kick to Luton Town.
Good start.
Bright
Excellent
start,
ball.
yeah.
Excellent ball by Dan Neil.
And the conversations at half-time, everyone's saying we need that second goal. Sunderland need to get themselves into a position where they've got a little bit more freedom. And the kick from Kaminski up over the halfway line, the Luton keeper all in light blue. It comes all the way through to Luke O'Nien. Across to Roberts on the right-hand side, up to the halfway line. Checks there in front of Joe Johnson, the 18-year-old left back. Back to O'Nien. Across to Ballard, is on the left again here. And Morris, Carlton Morris, in between the two centre-backs. It's played down the left wing to Lefay. Back to Sirkin. In front of him is Millie Ali, signed from Exeter in the January transfer window. And Ballard trying to get it on forwards. It comes off Walters, Rule Walters, the Luton Town right back. Kaminski in goal. Walters, McGuinness, Anderson and Johnson the back four. Lamine Fane in the middle. Then across the middle, Nelson, Ashgard, Clark and Ali, with Carlton Morris, the Luton captain, up front for Matt Bloomfield's team. Wide to Patrick Roberts on the halfway line. Comes back into the Sunderland half under pressure from Johnson and Nelson. And Nelson now trying to get away on that left-hand side. He got away from Rigg. He's coming at Ballard. Nelson still going. Rolls it down the left of the penalty area for Johnson to cross. It's come down to Jobe. He couldn't fully get it away. Fane plays it back to Ashgard in the middle. Across here on the right to Ali at the right corner of the penalty area. And Ali cuts into the middle, plays it across the back of the referee, who had to jump out of the way. Johnson's cross, looking to get it up towards Ashgard. It's knocked away, but it's won back by Luton again. They loop it up towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and Nelson's header comes away on the goal line on the left for O'Nien to just drive up to the halfway line, and McGuinness plays it back to Kaminski just outside the Luton penalty area.
There comes a point, Nick, where they've got, he's gone down.
And
Luke O'Nien.
Luke O'Nien is on the floor at the moment. He's getting up now and hobbling backwards. The ball back with McGuinness on the halfway line. You're saying there comes a point when O'Nien went down.
Luton will gamble.
And they try and flick it through here now. On the left to Nelson, but the block made by Trey Hume at the corner of the 6-yard box. And this is the point at which Luton have started now themselves brightly this second half. 4 minutes in nearly. 1-0 though still to Sunderland. Here's Fanay. He's forced back by Neil. Back to Anderson.
You've got to get out to him. You've got to get out to him.
You can sense the crowd feeling the same, feeling anxious at the moment as Nelson crosses, looking for Morris. It's through though to Anthony Patterson, who's all in green, rolls the ball out to Lefay. He's tackled this time though. The ball breaks for Sirkin. And Sirkin now is closed down by Ali. Back inside to Lefay. Walter's got a foot to it again, and it comes back to Sirkin, who twists and gets it down the left wing into the Luton half, but McGuinness puts it back up into the Sunderland half, and it's Hume in the middle who's to tidy up, playing it back to Anthony Patterson. Patterson's kick finds the head of Johnson, on to Nelson. Trying to win it back is Rigg, but Nelson gets it back to Anderson. Anderson to Clark. Clark back to McGuinness in the Luton half, across to the right to Walters, down the right wing to Ali. Ali to Walters again. On his shoulder is Job. He gets it back to Ali. Ali trying to get away from Lefay, and he does. Tried to slip it through into Morris, but it's knocked away by Ballard. To Neil. Neil now up over the halfway line. Roberts to his right-hand side. Patrick Roberts here, 5 yards inside the Luton half. Back to Trey Hume. Hume inside to Job. Back to Hume, and Hume now cutting across the middle of his own half and playing it to Luke O'Nien. 50 minutes played, 1-0 to Sunderland. Here's Lefay on the left, back to O'Nien on the halfway line. O'Nien looking for Roberts with another good ball, which Roberts takes in his stride into the penalty area, but Anderson will turn it out for a throw.
Just need to get hold of the game again, Nick.
Yeah.
When we're talking about, there's going to be a point where Luton have got nothing to lose. They're still in the game at 1-0. They'll throw things. They'll gamble.
They'll gamble. They make changes, but they're in a position where they've got nothing to lose at 1-0 in having a go. And here's Roberts trying to get it away on the right, but it's won back by Luton, and away comes Nelson up to the halfway line, won back by Sunderland. And here's Sirkin on the left-hand side. Leaves it again for Lefay. Lefay trying to just nudge it down to Sirkin for the cross, and he wins a corner. The ball just pushed by. First corner of the second half, 5th Sunderland corner of the game. So this on the left. Lefay steps back a good few yards here, and here he comes with his right, curls into the 6-yard box where it's knocked away by Luton. Again away, Ashgard to Clark as it was put back in. Job has to stride back, but the ball's going to go out for a throw to Sunderland, just back inside their own half on the right-hand side. Job is waiting for Hume to come down so he can leave the throw for Trey Hume to take. '53rd minute. Hume down the touchline, headed inside by Isidor, but it comes back up into the Sunderland half, and Morris is it down. He's gone down in the challenge, but the ball breaks for Walters, and there's no front man now, and it's down to Ali. Ali into the penalty area. Lefay's gone with him. He slid, and Ali plays the ball back to Walters. Ali's trying to win it again here, but O'Nien gets the better of him and slips it now to Dan Neil, who, well, he's tried to play it on to Rigg, who's caught. The advantage played because Lefay is away on the left-hand side. He's tried to lob the keeper from the left. Or it was a poor pass for Isidor. Plymouth 3, Millwall 0. He's talking about the yellow card for Fanay.
It's caught him, money.
Yes. So all that talk about Millwall coming up on the rails, they're 3-0 down at Plymouth. Alex Neil's Millwall. And Rigg's still down, actually. receiving some treatment. Fane, Spaniard, signed from AIK in 2024, presumably with a view to being prominent in the Premier League. Just didn't happen. 21-year-old.
It's about man management again, about game management.
Game management, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, we've got to get hold of the game.
Sunderland bench, incidentally, Moore, the goalkeeper. Mayenda, Salis, Mepham, Alexic, Hjelde, Ogunsui, Jones, and Silt. One, I'm going to hazard a guess. If Rigg can't continue, one would assume Mayenda would be the player that comes on, wouldn't it?
I would have thought so.
This is on the assumption he doesn't continue, but he's back up on his feet, Chris Rigg. And Pete Brandis alongside of him, just to check he's okay. Again, as I say, there's no indication that there's any activity on the bench. I think Rigg's going to be okay.
Yeah.
He's just walking to the touchline. Have to come off for 30 seconds and the game will resume. Kaminsky has the ball at the back for Luton Town. If you're just joining us on BBC Radio Newcastle, Sunderland leading still in the second half by 1-0. That goal scored by Enzo Lefebvre in the 13th minute. The ball dropped to the feet of Kaminsky. He comes out and will kick this, drills it down off the head of Dan Neil back to Patterson at the Roker end at the Stadium of Light. That's Carlton Morris. He's okay. He was knocked down earlier on. He runs right up towards Patterson, who picks the ball up, rolls it out to Ballard. And Ballard out again to Hume on the far side, trying to get it down the right wing for Isidor to chase. Anderson will play it back to the goalkeeper. Got it away from Isidor. It's played back out to Anderson. Jordan Clark and now Johnson on the left wing into the Sunderland half. Ahead of him is Nelson. Back again to Jordan Clark. And Clark, signed from Accrington actually, 5 years ago, gets the ball back to Mark McGuinness. And it's Plymouth 4, Millwall 0. Clark, Johnson, looking to get it down the touchline to Nelson, but there's a foul, I think. In the end, it's a throw after Hume was pushed down. Across the middle, Job to O'Nien. Now Lefebvre circling away down the left ahead of him, but Lefebvre pauses a minute, plays it back to O'Nien just inside the Luton half. To his left is Job. Job back to O'Nien, 57th minute. Again, works it to the right again. Hume down the line to Roberts. Roberts back again to Ballard. Ballard across to O'Nien. They've reverted to their more familiar left and right positions. Luke O'Nien and Dan Ballard. Here's Joe back to O'Nien and across to Ballard. And Ballard up over the halfway line. Chased by Carlton Morris. Tried to slip it through for Hume. It's just turned away at the edge of the area by Luton out to Fane. It was Clark who did the defending and then comes back to Anderson. On the left, Johnson. Forwards to Carlton Morris, out to Nelson, closed down by Hume, back to Anderson. Cross to McGuinness. McGuinness wide to Walters. Lefebvre's just in front of him, flicks it on to Ali. Ali, and he's lost out to Job here. Job gets away from Fane, looking for Isidor. Isidor with Lefebvre on his left. Isidor still going though. Isidor now leaves it for Lefebvre, who's pulled it into the middle. Oh, it's broken for Isidor. He scored! From 12 yards, Isidor buries it in the bottom left corner. Luton thought they got it clear. They hadn't. And in the 58th minute, Wilson Isidor, with his 11th goal of the season, has doubled the lead.
Good finish by Isidor. Little bit of rubber to green there, got falling his way, but well done. Put that away in the far corner. And that was the second goal we needed.
Yeah, it was Fane's mistake. Lamine Fane, he played the ball back into Isidor's path.
Yeah, it's come off his foot, hasn't it?
And yeah,
I think
Isidor,
Lafay was trying to find Job.
Yes, I think you're probably right. As you say, the rub of the green there from Sunderland, and that drops Luton to the bottom of the table. Plymouth with that 4-0 lead they hold over Millwall, leapfrog them at the foot of the Championship. So 2-0 to Sunderland. Wilson Isidor, and he took that with a bit of precision, actually. He did. That will calm a few nerves, I think, as well. That's how Luton Town react to that.
And the good thing about that one was he didn't have to think, did he?
No.
You know, he's just followed it,
just turned on it and put it into the bottom left-hand corner. So, with that 2-0 lead now, can they push on, get a couple more just to make sure? And here's Job in his own half, turns, comes back a bit. Across to the right-hand side. You can hear how the changes the mood in the stadium, doesn't it? From anxiety, it's to joy, and now hoping that Sunderland can press home that advantage they've now got. O'Nien at the back to Ballard, wide to Sirkin, forwards to Lafay, back to Ballard, out to Neil, pushing on to Lafay. What a lovely touch out to Sirkin. He's rolled it through to an onside Isidor on the left-hand side. Isidor's got two defenders in front of him now.
Roll it to him.
Didn't roll it to Rigg.
Roll
He's furious. Isidor dallied on the ball when Rigg was clear in the middle.
It's great play.
It's good play, but that was frustrating. And you can understand Rigg's frustration.
Great build-up play. Just rolled the ball to Chris Rigg.
Yeah. Two substitutions being made by Luton Town.
Bowler.
Josh Bowler, who's on loan from Nottingham Forest, is the first to come on.
Jacob Brown, is it?
And Jacob Brown, who was replaced by Nelson for this game. He comes on for Ali. I think it's Nelson who went off, actually. So a like for like swap in that sense. And Josh Bowler over on this right-hand side for Miliali. So they've just switched the two wide men, haven't they, as they did at the start of the game, in the absence of Alfie Doughty. In the 62nd minute, Brown and Bowler. Jacob Brown, 26-year-old Scotsman, signed from Stoke 2 years ago. As I say, Josh Bowler, former Blackpool midfielder, on loan from Nottingham Forest. And a free kick for Sunderland, a foul on the far side, just inside their own half, on Rigg again, I think. He's just crouched down at the moment. Oh, it's on Isidor, actually. Picks himself up. If, and this is just conjecture, if Isidor had scored the two penalties, and if Isidor had scored at the weekend, he'd be on 14 goals now this season. Roberts cuts inside on the right, trying to roll it through for Isidor, but the keeper's come out, takes it at the feet of him and Mark McGuinness, who got back. And it's now Everton 1, Liverpool 2 in the 7:30 Premier League kickoff tonight. Things looking a bit ominous for Luton.
You know, you look at Luton, and I think it reminds us of us, what, 4 or 5 years ago, when we
dropping out the Premier League.
Yes.
And just not working out in the Championship.
And they could easily drop out of the Championship.
They could, and they're now bottom of the table. A little way to go, of course. Lefay's played a ball over the top. Job chasing back with Nelson. In fact, it wasn't Nelson who went off earlier. I think it was Fane, wasn't it, that went off? So it breaks for Job in the centre. Played across, eventually, to the right-hand side to Roberts. And Roberts now dribbling at the corner of the penalty area. Back behind him is Rigg. Rigg now out wide to Hume. Back inside to Roberts, who chipped a nice ball into the penalty area, but it's been brought out by Ashgard now. And Luton looking to try and get out, can't get out. And it's played back by McGuinness to the goalkeeper. Isidor was waiting to pounce, but the goalkeeper's got the ball away. What Nelson has done is come into the middle now, into the position that Fane was playing, and Bowler's gone out on the left-hand side. The ball played up through the middle. Morris trying to head it on for Jacob Brown.
That's a foul.
Sorry, Brown has gone on the left-hand side. There's a foul on Rigg again, I think. No, Hume. Foul on Hume. Just sitting in the Sunderland half, just outside the penalty area. Referee's calling for the ball back from Patrick Roberts. Ashgard it was who fouled Hume. The ball then placed in the middle of the Sunderland half by Dan Ballard, who's going to take the free kick. As you know, Luke O'Nien runs up behind him and plays it, looking to get it out to the left wing to Lefay. Is nodded out by Walters for a throw, which Lefay will take. Or is he going to leave it for Sirkin now? The referee's pointing back, another double substitution being made by Luton now.
Naismith.
Kai Naismith is on loan from Bristol City. He's coming on. And also Elijah Adebayo. Adebayo is coming on for Morris. And West Bromwich Albion 0, Blackburn 1 in the Championship. The two. And Kai Naismith is coming on for Anderson. So 4 changes now made by Luton. They're 2-0 down. We're in the 67th minute. And play resumes with this throw from Sirkin. Down the left. Lefay spun on it and took the ball out, actually, this time. Just over 20 minutes, 25 minutes roughly to play. Sunderland 2, Luton Town 0. Walters with a throw back to the goalkeeper. Isidor trying to get back, thought he was impeded by Kai Naismith, 32-year-old Scotsman in his second spell with Luton. Luton, who sold him to Bristol City, and now they've loaned him back. Swansea 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Free kick for Luton, just inside the Sunderland half, on the edge of the centre circle. Jordan Clark will take this for the visitors. It's the French Foreign Legion that got the goals so far for Sunderland. I say so far. Will they get another? As the ball floated up into the Sunderland penalty area, drops for Hume. He clears. Well, in fact, Dan Neal it was who dropped and cleared. Got him up, back up into the Luton half. They drive it back up here, looking for Adebayo, but it's going to be cleared again. A little bit of communication let down, but Ballard did get the ball out. And it's a throw quickly taken by Luton all the way back to Kaminski, the goalkeeper, in the middle of the Luton half. He drives it wide down the left, looking for the nod on by McGuinness for Brown, but it's headed away by Ballard. Drops though in the end for Clark. Jordan Clark trying to get into the penalty area at the corner on the left. He's still going, and he's got the pull back, but eventually it's hooked away from Adebayo by Hume. But Luton are going to come again here. Johnson inside to McGuinness. He's pushed further up now for Luton Town, and eventually back into the centre circle to Walters. And the crowd urging Sunderland to get this ball under control and get it away. It's headed away by Ballard from the edge of the penalty area. And a terrific effort from the left-hand side from the substitute Jacob Brown, just over the top.
Yeah.
Visions there of Loser's goal for Watford at the weekend.
Yeah. And you just think that with Adebayo on now as well, he's a different, he's much, much taller than Morris.
6'4" compared to Morris's 6'1". Job is fouled, and it's a free kick to Sunderland, which will be taken by Luke O'Nien. Taps it back to Patterson. Patterson taps it out to O'Nien again. And back to Patterson. Across then to Ballard on the right side of the Sunderland penalty area. We're in the 70th minute. Here's O'Nien again. And across to Ballard. Hume, closed down by Brown. Plays it across the face of Adebayo to Luke O'Nien. Just outside his own area. Pushes it out to Job. Nelson closes him down. Job holds him off and gets the ball back. And shows a lovely turn of pace to get away from Nelson. And now to Neil on the halfway line on the left of Lefay. Sirkin away down the left of him. And the stretching, trying to get in the area is Job, but the ball is cleared. It's going to be a throw to Sunderland on the left-hand side. Lefay takes it to Sirkin down the touchline. Back to Lefay, inside to Job. Job's come back and he plays it back to the centre spot to Ballard, who lays it off to Hume. Hume forwards to Rigg. Rigg, just over on the right wing, plays it back to Ballard. Closed down by Adebayo. Comes back though for Ballard. Adebayo's trying to get it off him.
Well done,
He's
Ballard.
nodded it down to Rigg. Adebayo's putting pressure on Rigg on the touchline on the far side. Pulls him down. No, says the referee. Awards a throw to Luton Town. Rigg can't believe it.
Yeah, don't get sloppy.
So Johnson comes down to take this throw in. Joe Johnson, the left back for Luton Town, all in black. Back it goes to McGuinness, I think, eventually. Yeah, McGuinness on the halfway line, plays it to Walters. And then up towards Ashgard, trying to get him into the penalty area, but it's cleared by Sunderland. Lefay's pass is a poor one. Comes back to McGuinness, pushes it out to Nelson. He'll play it back to Naismith, and he taps it now to McGuinness, to Walters inside. It's a loose ball which Joe runs onto, finds Rigg. Rigg to Isidor. Isidor skips away from two challenges and then plays it over the top of Johnson with Roberts to chase him, and it'll roll away and out eventually for a throw to Luton Town. Deep in their own half, only 12 yards or so from the corner on the left-hand side. 72nd minute. Sunderland leading 2-0. If you're just joining us on BBC Radio Newcastle, Total Sport back tomorrow night, of course, at 6 o'clock to analyse this, to look forwards to Monday night at Leeds. And of course, we'll have discussion of the weekend's game, Manchester City against Newcastle United. Full commentary of that as well on BBC Radio Newcastle. So that's all to come in Total Sport tomorrow night, Friday night as well, when Benno's on the show and he just illuminates it. As Nelson breaks here now with Adebayo down the right-hand side. O'Nien's gone with him wide. He tried to slip it through O'Nien's legs, but O'Nien keeps it in, hooks it up here to Job. Nelson gets a foot to it, takes it into the path of Rigg. Rigg, a challenge by Clark, and eventually Nelson comes in and gets the ball back to McGuinness. And then again, Naismith forwards to Nelson, back to Walters. Walters closed down by Lefay, back to McGuinness, across to Naismith. Naismith looks up, drives us up through the middle, looking for Adebayo's run. Out comes Patterson.
And Mayenda's going to come on.
Bristol City leads Stoke City 2-0. And you're right, Mayenda's going to come on for Sunderland. A bit later than the 65 minutes that Regis Lebris was talking about yesterday in the build-up to this game, but nonetheless, he'll come on, and one assumes he'll come on for a rig.
Yeah.
The ball played up over the top. Isidor gets a foot to it, brings it down. Luton get it back, but into the path here. Roberts trying to get through on his left foot. Shoots off the post. Comes out to Lefay. Wide on the left, and it's blocked by the goalkeeper. And in fact, it's gone for a goal kick. Roberts can't believe his luck.
Is he can ever score?
Oh, he needs
Roberts.
a goal, and that was so
Excellent.
unlucky.
Chris Riggs is.
He got it round
gone.
the keeper, but
Chris
off the
Riggs
left
down.
purpose.
Chris Riggs down.
I think he's going to come off.
Yeah.
Ballard's got cramp as well on halfway. Yeah, Riggs is sitting in the middle of the Luton Town half. Meyenda's being readied. How frustrating is that with Patrick Roberts?
Excellent play on the edge of the box.
Was
unlucky, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Good
very
strike.
unlucky. Rigg receiving some treatment on the pit. I suspect that part of this is to slow things down and get Meyenda on. It's giving them the opportunity to just break things up a little bit. The referee is trying to encourage the player down, Rigg, to come off. He's up on his feet. He's going to come off now. He's having a word with the referee as he walks off. And being applauded off again tonight, Chris Rigg. Meyenda's waiting to come on. Incidentally, watching the game tonight down below us are the under-21s and academy staff, Graham Murty and co, who engineered that 7-0 win, and it could have been more, I'm told, over Wolves last night in the under-21s. Meyenda's on. Abdullahi scoring a hat-trick. It's going to be interesting when he is fit and in the first team. So, Sunderland 2, Luton Town 0, live on BBC Radio Newcastle in the 76th minute. Be a few minutes added on at the end of this game as Luton trying to break here with Clark to the right, wide to Josh Bowler, and Bowler trying to lift one over through the middle for Adebayo, but it's run through to Patterson. Gathered that with ease, comfortably, and lays it off now, rolls it out to Luke O'Nien. And out to Ballard, back to Patterson. Patterson to O'Nien. O'Nien pushing it out into midfield to Dan Neil. Neil, short pass through the middle to Isidor in the centre circle. Isidor out to Hume on the right-hand side, inside to Isidor. Back to Ballard and across to O'Nien. He pushes on up to the halfway line. Now out wide to Lefay. Lefay trying to come round Walters. Lefay has been blocked by Walters. It's a throw to Sunderland, which Sirkin comes down and takes fairly quickly. Looking for Isidor, who tried to head it and goalwards, but it's gone for a throw in the corner. Walters will take this. When we talk about atmosphere, Sunderland are 2-0 up, and the atmosphere suddenly lifts, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's all it takes. Now Roberts, little flick back to Neil, lays it off to Hume, closed down by Jacob Brown, slips it past him now to Meyenda, wide on the right-hand side on the touchline, holding off Johnson. Behind him is Roberts. Roberts now back into his own half to Ballard. Ballard just closed down by Ashgard, plays it back to Patterson, to O'Nien, then forwards again to Dan Neil, back to Patterson, and Patterson out again to Neil. Neil to Ballard, pushing it on down the right-hand side, and it's Hume trying to slip it through for Meyenda or Isidor, but it's put out for a throw, which Roberts takes quickly, knowing Isidor had made the break down the right side of the penalty area. Gets it back out on the touchline to Roberts. Behind him is Isidor. Isidor back again to Hume. Hume inside to Neil. Neil to Job. Job now in the middle, finds ahead of him Lefay, and he comes back under pressure from Nelson for O'Nien in front of Adebayo to play it to his right to Dan Ballard. Ballard back to O'Nien, then to Job on this left-hand side. Job to Neil. Job again, and Job back to O'Nien in the middle of the Sunderland half in the 79th minute. We played nearly, actually 79 minutes, 10 minutes or so to go, plus whatever time is added on. Here's Patterson at the back again for Sunderland. A kick from Patterson deep into the Middlesbrough half. It's kept in by Johnson, played back to the goalkeeper. Isidor goes to close him down the left edge of the penalty area. He gets it clear up to Brown, and Millwall have pulled a goal back at home park. A loose ball into the centre for Lefay. He finds Isidor down the right, tries to drill the ball in. It's put round the post by McGuinness for a corner.
Yeah, he's tried to find the end of there.
Opened up. Roberts slowly takes the ball across to the corner on the right-hand side at the north end of the stadium. Dan Neil back in the centre circle having a chat with Anthony Patterson. The assistant having a word with Patrick Roberts as he places the ball on the goal line at the corner of the quadrant. Sunderland leading 2-0. And the referee keeping an eye. He's seen something in the penalty area. I suspect it's the old McGuinness-Ballard Republic of Ireland versus Northern Ireland battle that's going on between the two of them. As Ballard tries to break away from McGuinness, the ball curls in and it's headed out by Naismith. It'll be Walters and Hume battling for it on the right side, and it's the Luton man who wins that battle. Then Nelson gets away from Isidor and plays it back, and he's gone down clutching his knee. Isidor, it's played up towards the halfway line. Adebayo wins it in the air down for Ashgard, and up again. Adebayo beaten in the air by Hume. It's in the centre circle, nodded back down by Neil, who's hurt, and I think that's a head injury. It's immediately O'Nien rushed in to say that it's a head injury. Referee Neil sitting up, but he looks to be okay in the 82nd minute. Another substitution, the final substitution about to be made by Luton Town, and I think it could be their new signing, Lasse Nordaas, who's a Norwegian striker, 23-year-old Norwegian striker, signed from Tromsø, and he replaces another Norwegian, Ashgard. So Nordaas for Ashgard, and at Bramall Lane it is still Sheffield United 1, Middlesbrough 1. I'm not sure what result Sunderland would favour Sunderland really between those two.
Middlesbrough to win.
Yeah.
Or even draw.
Probably, yeah. If Sunderland are serious about pursuing automatic promotion, the more points that Sheffield United can drop, the better. And it's now West Bromwich Albion 0, Blackburn 2. As Neil slips away from Nelson on halfway, out to the left to Lefay. Lefay cutting inside, plays it back now to Neil at the front of the centre circle, and he whips a lovely pass out to Patrick Roberts on the right of the penalty area. Roberts now trying to find a way in the box. Comes back to Hume, who volleys it over. He knows he leant back just a little bit too much, and it's a goal kick to Luton Town. Sunderland 2, Luton 0. Another bitterly cold night on Wearside. A little bit warmer for the fact that Sunderland are creeping towards 3 points. The kick from Kaminski up over the halfway line. And back it comes for Ballard to head clear. Picked up by Bowler. He's run into, basically stepped on the ball, and Job's got the ball right away, and Job swung it across to the right hand side. Heaton, Stannington 2, Bradford Park Avenue
Mjenda.
1 as Mjenda running into the penalty area. It's blocked. Hume picks up the loose ball. His cross blocked by Naismith. Comes back now to Roberts. Roberts swings it in, looking for Isidor.
Oh, he's gonna head it.
It's put away behind. Off Isidor. He's let it run off. He's headed it wide.
He didn't get connection, did he? I don't
Not
think
sure.
he connected
Did he
with
actually
it.
make any contact with it at
No,
all?
he-
Wanted to just let it go.
I think if he made contact, he should have scored.
It's still 2-0. Roberts, a wry smile from Patrick Roberts as he ran back. I gather there's a discussion to be had about Fane's tackle on Rigg as to what colour card that should have been. I mean, Fane got a yellow card. 37,929 the attendance. But Fane's been replaced now, probably because they felt that he was in danger of being replaced by the referee. A throw to Luton, but at the moment, Hume is down at the corner of the penalty area. And so we've got a pause in play in the 85th minute, but Hume's back up on his feet. And Johnson waiting to take the throw for Luton Town. Back it goes to Naismith. It's pushed on again to Johnson, who's battling with Roberts. Comes away with the ball, Johnson, but then Roberts wins it back off him. There's help from Dan Neal. And Roberts now runs into Johnson. Johnson's, well, he's tenacious. He's determined not to give up. But Sunderland win the throw off him. And Salis is going to come on.
He's going to come on for Roberts.
And Isidor.
Isidor, yeah.
So Wilson Isidor got his 11th goal of the season tonight. He comes off in the 86th minute. Applauds the crowd who are applauding him. And Salis waits to come on, just as a little warm-up on the touchline. And Isidor exchange of a greeting, and on comes Salis. So 4 minutes of the 90 left. Sunderland leading 2-0. Roberts throws the ball behind it for Hume to take the throw on halfway on the right for Sunderland, who are away at Leeds United on Monday night. Mike Evans, it's going to be a good game, isn't it?
Big game.
Big game. Plymouth 5, Millwall 1. So Plymouth, stung by Millwall getting a goal back, have gone and got another themselves. Wouldn't want to be in Alex Neil's dressing room after a defeat like that. Plymouth 5, Millwall 1, and there's still time, as there is here. 2-0 to Sunderland. Ball back in the Luton half. Luton drive it forwards, looking for Bowler, but it's gone straight through to Patterson, who lets it drop to his feet. O'Nien, I think, is just saying, no, just take your time, there's no panic. And the ball just picked up in front of Adebayo by Patterson and rolled out to the right-hand side to Dan Ballarbor in the 88th minute now. Hume on the right, a block by Brown, but back comes Salis, and he gets in front of Nordas, and it's come inside for Hume. Plays it across to Dennis Sirkin here now, and he's got Lefay wide on the left wing. He's closed down by Bowler. Sirkin behind him plays it back to Luke O'Nien, and it's Everton 2, Liverpool 2. Away comes Joe, but he felt he was caught. The advantage has been played by the referee, and it breaks through from Lefay to Jobe. He tries to play it across into the corner. In were coming Mjenda and Roberts, and the ball eludes both of them and rolls past the foot of the right post from Jobe's stab inside.
It's a great pass.
Lovely ball from Jobe.
Great play.
So inviting, but nobody could get on the end of it. The goalkeeper couldn't even get fingertips to it. In the 89th minute, and the goalkeeper's okay. He's picked himself up I'm thinking with Everton, Liverpool starting at 7:30, and we're in the last minute or so here. There must have been a fair amount of added time at Goodison Park.
Must have been.
It must have been fairly clocking up the added time at Goodison. So, how much time we're going to get here, we'll find out in a minute or so. Kaminski limps back to his post to take the goal kick. Referee's having a word in the middle with Nelson, Zach Nelson. That word has been had, and so Kaminski can take the goal kick. Drives it up over the halfway line, and Neil's trying to win it, and Roberts is trying to get it through for Mienda, but it's with Naismith, who lays it off now to Johnson, just inside the Sunderland half. We're in the last minute as it comes through on the left for Johnson, a little flick out to him, and a strong challenge from Hume, and Hume comes away with the ball. Mienda's offside. You knew it. Offside. You knew he was offside. And a free kick to Luton, left of midfield. Dean Whitestone's out. Was that a 3? I couldn't quite. He flicked it up on the board, down by the side of his leg. Kaminski will take this free kick. Sunderland heading into added time, leading 2-0. Kaminski's kick up through the middle, looking for Adebayo, headed away by Ballard. It's a sprint across for Lefay to keep it in, which he does. He rolls it down the line looking for Job, but across came Walters, slid in underneath Job and concedes the throw, and we will have 5 minutes. A minimum of 5 minutes at the end of the game, which we're in now. And it starts, first few seconds of it, with a throw for Sunderland on the left to Lefay, and now Job. Behind him is Neil. Across to Hume. Roberts was looking to make a dash down the right wing. Ballard back to Patterson, and Patterson kicks it back to Ballard on the right, and Ballard will just play it out to Hume on the right hand side. Down for Mayenda to run on, or so Salis to run on to, and inside to Neil, and Neil turns and slips away from Nordas into the middle now. Roberts down to Lefay into the penalty area on the left hand side. Lefay tries to push it on for Sirkin. It's over the goal line. The flag is up on the far side, and it's driven in from the back of the box by Job. The ghost goal.
Excellent play by Dan Neil.
Still a threat. We're in the second minute of the 5 being added on at the end of the game. And the kick from Kaminski. It's finished 2-2 at Goodison Park. And it ended in 101 minutes, that game at Goodison. The ball comes back here, and Mienda's wrestling for it. He's won it, but the referee has given a free kick for the foul on Naismith.
He's lucky.
Out comes Kaminski to take the free kick. The goalkeeper just behind the centre circle. It was a push, but I think Naismith went back.
He went straight into him.
Far too easily.
Yeah.
Into the third minute then of the 5 being added on. Sunderland leading 2-0. The kick upfield, headed away from the edge of the area by Ballard. Back from Walters, out again from O'Nien, up to Naismith in the centre circle, who lays it off on the right to Walters, and forwards to Bowler, down the right to Nelson. Job's going with him. Nelson into the corner. Job stabbed it out eventually at the corner with a strong sliding tackle. And it's a throw to Luton. That's now 2-1 to Sheffield United over Middlesbrough. Sheffield United 2, Middlesbrough 1. Bowler's waiting to take this throw. Job's being spoken to by the referee. He's a lot shorter than Job, actually. He's having to look up to Job to tell him off. And Walters with this throw for Luton Town. 3 minutes of the 5 played. It's headed back down to Dan Neil to hook clear. Mienda. He's done well here. He's being pulled down by Johnson, then he's tripped up by Clark, who he also nearly got away from. But I think it's going to be a yellow card for Johnson, isn't it?
Good play by Mayenda. Good strength.
Sunderland will be happy. It's taken play up to the halfway line in their favour in the 94th minute, leading 2-0. Ball comes back eventually to the referee and Luke O'Nien to take the free kick. Nearly 4 minutes played. Sunderland to see the game out, and it's whipped away to the right wing to Patrick Roberts, who just traps it on his left foot, and now dribbling at Johnson, and Brown's there as well. He slips it down to Salis and back to Roberts, and Roberts now trying to shake off Johnson. He's done that. He's nearly got into the penalty area but ran into Brown. He leaves it to Clark, and Clark plays it down the left wing. Nordas. Plymouth have beaten Millwall 5-1. Job here now. Nelson trying to get the ball off him. Job spins away from him. Neil just plays it back to Ballard. Ballard back to Patterson. We're in the last minute. Patterson passing it out to O'Nien. O'Nien back to Patterson. And Patterson pushing it out to Neil again. Neil back to Patterson. Neil across to O'Nien. And O'Nien through to Salis. Salis up to the halfway line in the centre circle, just lays it off to the right-hand side to Trey Hume, who plays it back to Ballard. Ballard in his own half to Luke O'Nien. O'Nien then slipping it, or tried to slip it to Joe, but Bowler intercepted. Sirkin gets back and wins it back. And there goes the final whistle. Virtually smack on 5 minutes of added time. And Sunderland have beaten Luton Town 2-0 in a game they largely dominated and controlled.
Yeah, you got to say it's a good professional job. You know, you look at Luton and where they are at the present moment, but still, you still got to do the job. And it was very important that we got that second goal, because when it's 1-0, they're still in the game. But it was a well-deserved result for Sunderland tonight.
Well, there's summing up to come from Benno and Pridey. 37,929 here at the Stadium of Light. 3 points on the board for Sunderland. Luton Town slipped to the foot of the championship. It's finished Sunderland 2, Luton Town 0.
I'm Jeff Brown, and for almost 40 years I've had the privilege of covering some great sporting moments as a reporter and a presenter.
Some of the biggest names in world football gathered here.
Sport's always been my passion, whatever colour the team's wearing or the shape of the ball. Now, we know the moments, but what was it like to live them?
Hello, Alan Shearer here.
Hi, I'm Savannah Marshall.
Hi, it's Brendan Foster here.
In this series, I'm going through my very well-thumbed contacts book of sporting heroes, the ones who made these moments famous. This is Jeff Brown's Sporting Greats. Subscribe now, so you never miss an episode.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
So 2-0, it's finished to Sunderland here at the Stadium of Light. Get your thoughts coming in. We would love to hear from you. Send us a WhatsApp 08000 321 333. Start your WhatsApp with the letters BBC. You need to also begin with those same 3 letters BBC if you send us a text to 81333. A very important victory for Sunderland to keep pace with the teams at the top of the championship. What did you make of the performance this evening? Who stood out for you? And where does this leave Sunderland now in terms of their automatic promotion hopes? Plenty of talking points from the game, which I will put to Gary Bennett very shortly. We're on air until 10 o'clock tonight, so time for you to send your messages and have your say tonight. We would love to hear from you. While Gary collects his thoughts, I will take you through the other scores this evening. In the Championship, Bristol City have beaten Stoke by 2-0. Burnley 2, Hull 0. That one in the closing stages, deep into injury time there. So another clean sheet for Burnley, another victory for them, it looks like. What about this for a scoreline? Plymouth Argyle 5, Millwall 1. The final whistle has blown there. So Plymouth are making a fight of it. It looked like they might be going adrift at the bottom of the Championship, but that draw against Sunderland, win against West Brom, and then knocking Liverpool out of the cup as well. Things seem to have turned around in the post-Wayne Rooney era at Plymouth. 5-1 they have beaten Millwall. Swansea City 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Smith with the goal for Sheffield Wednesday. That's a full-time score. And we're getting the usual Mayenda arms in the air, causing the fans to cheer behind the goal. He doesn't want to get off the pitch, does he? He wants to keep doing it. The fans that have stayed to applaud the team are all very much enjoying it. And so he eventually turns and heads off the pitch. And Sunderland victorious by 2-0 this evening. So it's Sheffield Wednesday 1-0 winners at Swansea. Sheffield United lead Middlesbrough by 2-1. Raksaki for Sheffield United in the first half. Bergzorg from the penalty spot just before half-time equalised for Middlesbrough. But then Brett Brereton Diaz has scored on 75 minutes for Sheffield United. So could do with Borough getting an equaliser there, really, as far as Sunderland are concerned. Still around about 8 minutes to play plus injury time, so we'll keep you updated if anything else happens in that match. And Blackburn lead West Bromwich Albion, another late kickoff, another 8 o'clock kickoff this, by 2-0. Drama in the final Merseyside derby at Goodison Park. Everton, of course, will move to their new ground next season, but they have drawn 2-2 with Liverpool. Beto opening the scoring for Everton after 11 minutes. Alexis McAllister getting the equaliser on 16. No further goals until Mo Salah put Liverpool ahead in the 73rd minute. And then in the 8th minute of stoppage time, James Tarkowski scored the equaliser for Everton. He will go down in the history books as the last goal scorer in a Merseyside derby at Goodison Park. But the action wasn't over. There were a couple of sendings off in injury time as well. Everton's Doucouré and Curtis Jones of Liverpool both given their marching orders. So quite a game at Goodison Park in that 2-2 draw, that rearranged game after the original was postponed. There have been Champions League matches tonight as well. Club Brugge have beaten Atalanta by 2-1. That one's finished. That was the early game. Celtic have pulled one back against Bayern Munich. There were 2 down, Elise and Kane for Bayern Munich, but Maeda has scored for Celtic. So in the closing stages there, it's Celtic 1, Bayern Munich 2. Feyenoord lead AC Milan by 1-0. And Monaco, who are down to 10 men, trail Benfica at home by 1-0. So, Gary Bennett, a satisfying evening's work, I would guess. I mean, those wanting to be critical might say they should have won more convincingly, maybe could have boosted the goal difference a little bit, but keeping a clean sheet, being comfortable pretty much throughout the game. I know there was a scary moment towards the end of the first half, and in the second half, Luton came out and had a little bit of pressure early on. But once the second goal had gone in, Sunderland were in control, and that's probably not something we've been able to say here for a little while.
No, not at all. We seem to be getting used to conceding late goals, but you've got to say that was a well-managed game, comfortable win in the end, and hopefully, we can build on it. A clean sheet, a lot of positives come out of the game.
Yes.
Lefebvre scoring, Wilson Isidor again on the score sheet. Dan Ballard alongside Luke O'Nien in the heart of defence, and in the midfield, Job was excellent in the middle of the park alongside Dan Neil and Chris Rigg. So,
yes.
Yeah, it was a good team performance tonight.
Yeah, lots of impressive displays. Lefebvre, great for him to get that first goal. He showed some brilliant touches, particularly in the first half. Then he maybe faded a little bit in the second half.
Yeah, definitely so. But, you look at the work rate, what he's put in as well. We talk about technical ability, what he's got, but also the other side of it, which maybe a lot of people don't see, is how hard he works off the ball.
Indeed. By the way, Heaton Stannington leading 2-1 in their match this evening against Bradford Park Avenue in Northern Premier League East Division. I'll let you know once that's confirmed as a full-time, if indeed it is. And Isidor scored, had other opportunities, had an opportunity early on. There were other times when he just didn't seem to quite time his run, be in the right place at the right time. You just feel there should be more goals from him, but you can't criticise him because he's still consistently scoring.
Exactly. You look at the goal which he scored tonight, and it's one of them where he didn't have much time to think about it. It's just fallen for him, and he's just struck it. Excellent strike, ends up in the bottom of the net. But you look at the ones which maybe you think he should have scored, maybe you think, has he had too much time to think about it?
Joe Bellingham as well. I've just been looking at social media. A lot of praise for him. I mean, he's got a lot of energy. His fitness and his strength are really important for Sunderland, and he manages to keep going till the end as well. You know, he's not one of these players that seems to fade towards the end of games. If anything, it's almost like he gets stronger. So he's a really important player, isn't he?
Yes, and we realise that. You look at the weekend. I think he was missed. Especially with them driving runs, and he's so comfortable on the ball as well, and his strength. So yeah, he's a big part, especially off that middle of the park.
0800321 333. Start your message with the letters BBC. Nick's in Vancouver, in Canada. A good win for the lads. They never had to get out of second gear, really, and we needed those points. Paula says, excellent first goal by Lefay as well. And she's also hoping that Rigg isn't badly injured. I don't think he was. I mean, he came off. He was in the wars a little bit, wasn't he? Because he took a knock earlier in the game. He was fouled again later. But the way that he got up and applauded the fans, and I think he'll have a few bruises, but I think he's going to be all right.
Indeed, he's always going to get bruises, Chris, because that's the type of player he's in. He doesn't pull out of challenges, shall we say. He puts 100% in. But he should be all right. And I think it sets you up nicely for Monday night. It's going to be a fantastic game against Leeds United. We know what it's all about. But again, you look at the quality. I think is going to be a big, big part of that game on Monday night.
There has been another goal at Bramall Lane. It's gone to Sheffield United. They lead by 3-1 now. It looks like they're going to meet Middlesbrough tonight, which will keep that cushion ahead of Sunderland. But all Sunderland can do is just keep winning their games, and teams above them will falter.
Yeah, that's right. We just got to keep doing what we are doing. Win games, hopefully keep clean sheets.